Right.
Be in their car, working out on the way to work.
Running. Cutting grass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do y'all listen to podcasts?
24 hours a day.
Okay. Okay. So when do you listen? What time of the day? I mean, you say 20 You wake up. I do them first thing in the morning.
What's your favorite?
Probably Going Deep with Chad and JT. Yeah, it's just a comedy relief. Two guys out of Los Angeles, similar to me and Jordan. You just kind of went. They're comedians. They do stand up and they go out and they keep you hip. It's pretty funny, and they don't care.
I can reel off. I listen to Sword and Scale.
Crime scenes.
Yeah.
I already knew it. I could tell. I
This
could
is-
tell by how you're bringing to the table.
This is really happening. That's a great one. And then I like Snap Judgment, and then they have a spinoff called Spooked that they're great.
What is that about?
Spooked is ghost stories where people that have the experiences actually tell the story. Snap Judgment is fantastic. It is a different. The people tell their own stories, but it's people who are in a situation where they have to get themselves out of it by some extraordinary means. It could be like you hear those stories about people lifting a car when somebody.
Yeah. I was about to ask you and use that as an example.
It's fantastic.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right now, I am into Theo Vaughn.
He's hilarious.
I'm sorry, I just can't.
He's hilarious. I do the Two Bears One Cave too. That's a good one.
Yeah, my son Charlie's a huge fan of his.
Theo Vaughn.
Yeah,
I just
they
can't
were
stop.
they were actually and he and his girlfriend were in New Orleans, just randomly walking through the French Quarter, and there he was, and they got all kind of pictures hung
Really,
out.
that's pretty cool.
Cool.
So he was on what is it, Road Rules, or one of the original MTV reality shows. And did that forever before he even started to do this comedy.
What, Real World?
I think it was Real World, yeah.
They had the house Real World, and then didn't they have the Road Rules was the van with the horns.
All right, did y'all watch MTV
Before Kardashians.
when y'all were young?
Remember
Or?
when MTV happened?
Happened.
I was at her house in New Orleans, 1980. I don't know.
No, probably 80.
80 something.
When it was a Saturday, MTV debuted. The goggles, video killed the radio star. It was
Yeah.
at her house in New Orleans in Metairie,
And you remember it.
vividly,
Yes.
when MTV debuted.
Now, I don't know what it is. It's just like reruns of
I
ridiculousness.
haven't seen it. in
We also
years.
had Pong, the very first video game.
Atari.
I had an Atari growing up. It was just kind of like my parents had it in the attic, and they let me play it when I was a kid. Like probably because we couldn't afford the newer systems. But I had that, the Pong, and I had Pitfall. That was my favorite one on there. And there's like a little vine that just you would swing over. It was very simple, but like back then, I mean, that's all you needed. Nowadays, you got kids running around with these things. It's kind of scary. Yeah, just sitting there on this.
Yeah, I mean, in the 80s, there wasn't phones.
Right.
No.
Do you like no phones or phones?
No phones.
No phone.
I like phones. I mean, I because I remember. Well, I remember
Gotta
the times where didn't have it and how.
Oh, get them the mic a little bit. There.
So let's introduce our guests. I want to tell everybody who you guys are and
So I'm Octavio Arzola.
I'm Jeff Kelly.
And I don't know who I am.
no, we're blessed to have
Shannon.
y'all. Yeah, you're Shannon. That's how this works.
Whatever they want me to.
Thank y'all so much for coming.
What were you saying though about mobile phones?
That I remember in Spain when doing business, but like I have to wait 2 or 3 hours. Remember coming back to the base with the trucks and so on, and then in the office they will call you and say, "Hey, you need to come back. You have 3 customers that call on the hard line that they want." So you're like, "Oh,
Okay.
See, I remember the hard line. My mom she'd be yelling at me, back here. And then the phone would ring and she'd answer and be like, hello. She'd go from like real mom voice to like sweet mom voice. And that's one thing I remember about the hard lines, I mean, growing up. But as soon as it became cordless and then cell phones, I think we were one of the first families to actually cut the hard line out. And I got one out. We got one at the office, and that's like the first one that we've had I think in a minute. Like,
It was tough sharing phones for. Well, I mean, it was tough sharing phones with siblings. And then my thing was when AOL came out,
Oh,
and then my stepdad found out like eBay. He like from like 6 o'clock to midnight, he had an addiction problem. Maybe it's eBay. You never know. The door was shut. But he spent 6 hours. You know what I mean? Like,
The download.
they used to charge by the minute back then.
Man, I remember in Chicago, a friend of mine, his son, got racked like a $200,000 in a month.
Wow.
He was a little kid, and he was, remember when you call and the girl answer, and it's just
The hotline.
hotline.
I don't know.
Star69.com.
tell him.
This kid was like,
It's like
6 or 7 years old.
Really?
I wonder what he's doing these days.
Yeah, I don't know. His father probably is still paying for it.
What was y'all's biggest? Did y'all get into so in the 80s? I mean, what was it like? I mean, 8-tracks, vinyls, cassette. When did cassettes drop?
and
Well, in the 70s, we were in the 8-tracks.
Okay.
You had a Craig 8-track player
Mhm.
and the mind blower speakers in the back, which had the built-in power boosters.
Yeah.
So you had an 8-track deck, they called it. Big, clumsy 8-track tapes, and they were freaking amazing. My first one I got was Grand Funk Railroad. They're coming to the boat.
An American band.
yeah,
Dope.
It was lime green 8-track.
How big was this thing? Like, was it sleek?
yeah.
Okay.
I had a 71 Buick Skylark, lovely brown color. And I worked at Del Tamp's grocery store when I was in high school. And I was probably in the
Shout out.
grade. And saved all my money and took it to a sound place. I don't remember the name. Probably Sound Shop.
Sound
or something,
advice.
and got a Pioneer stereo and speakers. And I just thought I was the greatest thing in the world. And the downfall of the 8-track player was they eventually, how do you say, we'd always have to shim it up with some
Drag.
Yeah, drag. We'd have to shim up the 8-track with some folded up pieces of paper, shove it underneath to keep it from going.
That's funny.
Eventually,
So we had to deal with skips on our
Yeah.
CDs. When we were, he was just
Cars for us early 2000s, so it was definitely CDs.
No, my truck still had a tape player in it, and I remember coming up with tapes, but 8-tracks before our time. But
just think about carrying a big giant box in your car full of 8-tracks because they were so huge. The box was huge. To have an assortment of things to listen to.
So, what was y'all's spot down there? Y'all are both from Gulfport, correct? Where was y'all's spot?
Fighters.
What year are we talking?
Yeah.
Let's say 80s.
The 80s. I graduated high school in 81, so I mean I was gone.
I was gone too already. By
Oh
that
shit!
Yeah. We're that old.
yeah, we didn't bring you guys on here to just talk
I
about
graduated
that.
in 1979, and I moved in
Yeah.
1980,
So
and I didn't come back until 1989.
I was in Oxford for a little while.
So where was the spot in 1989 when you first came back?
Well, I was married and had 2 kids. So
Yeah, so no spot home.
the
you
house.
guys are young. How young are you guys?
86.
Pretty young.
Both 86.
I feel like I'm getting old though. Like I got gray in my beard now.
You were born in 86. Y'all were born in 86.
86.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
my son was born in 88.
Right on. Yeah. See,
My
I
siblings
opened
we're not that young.
I opened my business in 1986. So
It was a
Really?
good year. It was a good year.
Sure.
Did you
And
enjoy
you're
the
a
80s?
shoe salesman, right?
What was it like starting your first business in 86?
Well, I mean, I was doing a lot in that year. I was getting married, so I was just in a position where I had no choice but to do it, and so it was scary, but I had some support, not family support.
Yeah, we
Well,
drove.
it was family support, but not my direct family. But it was just something I felt like I had to do. I'd been in the hairdressing business for about 3 years, working for a great guy. But once I decided to get married, I knew I had to take a different direction from where I was. So
You by yourself?
yeah,
How
So
many booths
usually,
did you have?
it was myself and one girl answered the phone and one assistant. That was it.
So going from stylists to barbers, totally different. Totally different haircut style, like place you go to. I mean,
Right.
barbershop, you go in there, get your haircut, get out, get your little shave, and move on. I'm learning this, and then stylists, y'all take on color. Y'all,
Mhm.
just way more goes into
color.
Yeah. So
It's galore,
did you
right?
did you do styling back then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
sure.
So you didn't just do barbershop.
I've never done
Okay.
barbershop.
They're two different licenses.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm so there's
Yeah,
two
we're
different
amateurs,
licenses,
man.
But
Yeah, but about 10, 12, 13 years ago, barbering really came back in vogue. It was, and I'm thrilled to death to see it. There's some people doing some good stuff in this market now, but it's the men had no choice. They were sort of relegated to go into the beauty salons when the barber shops died off for quite a while. In the last decade or more, it's come back, and I'm glad to see it.
Chuck, have you seen the videos online of the people cutting hair with fire?
Oh, absolutely.
Where they're burning the hair off?
Yeah.
What kind of, is that a style? What is that?
Well,
Sounds like an insurance nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying.
it's there's a lot of different theories on why they do it. To me, it's sort of gimmicky. I mean, imagine if I can get into too much detail as to what they're actually burning.
Yeah, it's
But, I
scary.
mean, it's there's not really not a lot going on, depending on the hair texture. If it's curly hair, yeah, it's kind of a way you can actually shape
Really?
extremely textured hair. You can actually shape the hair with the fire. And it's
how
It's
much
got-
fire we're talking
well,
about?
it's novel. Can you imagine the aroma? I mean,
Yeah, it's
I seen a couple weeks ago a video of somebody with just chopping somebody's hair. Like it didn't make any sense to me
the knife.
because there wasn't straight lines. I mean, it was just like a
cutting board and
yeah.
I mean, it's all about sensationalism and
You know what I want in a good haircut? Hair washing.
Yeah.
It's when I'm sitting in there and I'm getting the massage on the scalp.
Yeah.
That makes the haircut for me.
Absolutely. It's a
You
favorite
don't get that
part.
at a barbershop. Right?
Tons of my guests say I'm here for the shampoo, not the haircut. True.
Were you always like so? You're salon and spa.
Yeah.
When did you move into the spa world?
Well, when I opened the Courthouse Road location in '89, I sort of started branching into it. And then 2000, I built or constructed the shopping center that I'm in now. I had a massive space. I've since downsized, but really went headlong into the day spa in 2001. And now it's a market that's tough to be competitive in because anyone who's medical now has medical estheticians and Botox and fillers and Restylane and all.
And you're
that
seeing
stuff
a lot of those guys pop up
everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not medical. So I really can't be competitive in that space anymore. So I've actually downsized in my own shopping center, but I've downsized. It's a different world right now. I'm pivoting and adapting to what's going on right now. I'm feeling the pinch of labor, and I've got an incredible team of people. My senior guys have children and their families, and they're not working as much. And we work hard.
What's the hours y'all do you think you work at that shop?
I do 50, 55 a week. But
How many heads is that?
for me,
Surely you're like
It's
coveted now, so you kind of want to scale back a little.
80, 90 a week.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Booked a year in advance.
That's
people don't understand the work that goes in there. But this guy,
so. Who cuts your hair, Octavio?
he does.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you
like
stay booked
see-
in. It looks good. It looks on point, dude.
No, but it is really it's funny or both of our jobs. People don't think that a hairdresser as a hard work, but we usually see each other around 6 something in the morning, passing by, and he is on his feet the whole day, over and over and over, cutting hair with people that want his total
Undivided
attention,
attention.
and they're gonna talk to you, and sometimes you don't know, it's just.
Have you
It
thought
is-
about
it's-
getting one of those hoverboards where you can just like lean forward and go to the other person? And
One would think I have one already, but I'm very blessed. I mean, I've been in the business.
I feel the
It's gonna
same
be
way.
hard
man.
for you though.
I complain about
bring
my
in new
phone.
clients
ringing.
though. I mean, it's gonna be tough to get on that list. I mean, you've built for so long.
It's not really tough. I mean, if you're flexible at all, I have cancellations all the time. I see new. I've never ever wanted the reputation of not accepting new guests. You don't ever want that word on the street because people just don't even call.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I'm super blessed. Worked really hard for 39, 40 years now.
What's
Yeah.
the secret to staying on your feet? What's the secret behind standing there?
Just ignoring everything you're feeling.
Oh, that's it. I got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, just grind it out, man.
Do you have any like certain like pads like around your chairs?
Yeah, well, actually, if any of my staff are watching this, they're gonna blow us up and call me a liar. But we just relocated, like I said, within my shopping center a couple of months ago, and it's a much smaller space. So I haven't moved the pads in yet. I've actually got some new ones coming. They're small. We definitely stand on pads, and you have to wear good shoes.
Yes.
It's a great business. It's an incredible business.
So when you started, I mean, was it I mean,
We cut hair with rocks. It was like,
did you? Okay.
Flintstones.
I was curious though, like versus like you coming out in the '80s having a salon as a man. Like, you know, my aunt was Trudy Landry.
Yeah.
So that's my grandmother's sister, and she's been in the industry forever. And you know, but I've watched her. She used to cut my hair when I was a kid and stuff. I mean, but I never know that like how that was, and you know, it's tough to even start your own salon, whether you're a man or a woman, and to build the business, because they had the Fantastic Sam's, they had a lot of these 80s, 90s haircut places.
yeah. But I mean, when I started, I wanted to position myself. You know, I wanted to be the best.
How'd you advertise?
Did not
Word of mouth.
Yeah, I mean, when it literally here comes my. I had to walk to school in the snow, pick cotton story, but I literally had to fly to New York to get exposure, to learn, to get trained. I'm talking, this was 1983. Okay. There were no even video cassette clubs. There were no subscription memberships. If I wanted to learn to get exposed,
Got to go throw yourself in it.
I had to get on an airplane and fly to New York, stay at a YMCA for $11 a night, eat the hot pretzels off the street, and go to a workshop. And you know, the
What were some of the basic skill sets you learned there?
well, I didn't learn basic skill sets.
Or what'd you learn?
I
Yeah.
learned all the basic stuff in hairdressing
Okay.
school. And I worked for a great guy when I started, but he didn't really have time to train me. He threw me right onto the salon floor day one. But I knew I didn't know anything. And I knew I needed to get exposure. And the only way back then was literally to get on an airplane, fly to New York, save and save and save. I didn't have a car. I bummed rides to work, took taxi home when I had to, and save and scrounge and to pay for a workshop and go study with the icons of the industry. Then I'd literally go to their salons and physically train with them. They would teach me how to do
What did that take? I mean, what did you just showed up and they're like, comb?
Oh, no.
No, yeah. How
Basically, they'd have it had a model call, and they would have residents of New York come in and get free haircuts.
okay.
And these are
You're
extremely
doing models and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, I mean,
Yeah, we're amateurs. I don't know nothing.
It's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. What?
Has a celebrity client.
no, what is
So
that?
how many perms did you do?
In the 80s, about 8 or 10 a day.
You know what's sticking in my head right now? Remember the movie Mannequin?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's sticking in my head. And the whole time I'm thinking like 80s in my head. I'm like, this is like the movie Mannequin right now.
No, but I mean, you really had to put some effort into getting exposure and to learn. And today, kids, YouTube,
They want to know.
everything's free now. And you know, I'm not bemoaning or begrudging them, but you know, in order to get exposure and to learn back then, it took a ton of effort. It was a ton of fun too. I mean, don't get me wrong, going and hanging out in New York 3 or 4 times a year when you're 20 years old was a lot of fun.
But you probably paved the way and made it a lot easier for these, I guess, new up and comers,
Yeah, for sure.
because they wouldn't have that blueprint or that
There are a lot of
path to success.
well-known stylists on the coast now I've trained.
That's awesome. That's got to feel good.
What's your internship usually last? Do you have
It
any-
depends on the individual. Believe it or not, it's, in years past, I've had 10, 12, 14, 20 applications a year for the apprenticeship. It's very few now. It's a cycle. I know it's going to change.
Is that the people who just don't want to work, or is that?
They don't.
Yeah.
I mean, apprenticing for me means 50 hours a week and then coming in on your day off to train.
Can you TikTok there? I mean, that's what you're up against right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's
And you
true.
know, I've tried to embrace it. I just can't. I'm resisting all that.
Yeah, I just shut my match store down a couple months ago. I had it for 7 years, had fun with it, but like I just started watching it, like it just turned into this situation where I was like, and set with him, and like, okay, we're just gonna me and Matt have an insurance agency in Biloxi. I was just like, all right, it's time. I thought we'd keep it running and for us just to have like a long-term event, like retirement money for us.
Sure.
But when I seen that spike, and I just said,
And why do you think that happened? I mean, what?
oh, I mean, I just like a lot of people are not. When people stop working, it's like a circle. You got to go to work. You got to make money to spend money.
Mhm.
If you're not working at Chuck Kelly's, you're sitting at home. You're not making money to buy a mattress, and it's a circle of life. So if you're like refusing to get jobs and you're just going by the bare minimum, you know, because there are a lot of people now. You know, I moved out when I was super young. I was 16, 17, rebellious kid. I moved out. I mean, now I know people in their 30s that still live with their parents, and I'm not making fun of it. I think it's
Right.
whatever you want to do, but like it's a different thing.
It's completely
Well, it's this
different.
new dynamic, and if someone else has said it, I'm plagiarizing you, but I think I've coined it. It's just there's a certain generation right now. They don't want to get ahead. They just want to get by.
Yeah.
And people going in
I
their
feel that.
early 20s to come work for you to be an apprentice to put in the work because they want their own apartment to go on their dates and have their own privacy. That's not no more.
Yeah, and I've got two young. I'm really blessed. I've got two young people right now in the queue in the apprentice situation. And I feel very blessed because that's how I keep my business going, is because the senior stylists, the majority of them are girls. They have a family. They have 2 or 3 children, and they get to the point where they can't work that much.
Yeah.
They just can't. And so the way that I can keep it all going is with the younger guys coming in. And there's been a dramatic downturn in the people interested to come in. And I'm just not going to change my business model.
Yeah. No, if it ain't broke, don't
My
fix
name's
it,
on the
man.
door. I'm
Yeah.
not going to sacrifice quality. And if it means that we're a smaller, maybe our staff isn't growing as much for a while, I'm just going to maintain my standards, and
That's smart.
Hopefully it turns around. I think it will.
All right. So what's going on with the popsicle world? I mean,
Well, I was gonna say a lot of the stuff he just said, and you know, I worked for Chuck on and off through the years, and those are the things that I learned watching him. And we feel the same. We have employees, and we have a business model and a service level. Even though you're buying a $4 or $5 item, we like the fact that our employees can tell you what's in every one of them and how they taste, and give you recommendations and help you, find a
I need
tourist
mine. I
attraction.
know you got some over there.
Who
Yeah.
wants one?
Yeah, I want
Oh,
one.
mine-
Let's see what we got. Tell us what's in it.
But
And
anyway, we have the same feeling. We're not going to change anything about how we make them or.
have y'all noticed like a huge increase in, I guess, cost of materials? And yeah, tell me what we got.
Watermelon mint mojito.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm going somewhere with you. Let's turn this party up.
Watermelon.
Here,
mint
you want a
mojito.
popsicle, bro?
Poptail. So these are actually
Pina
alcoholic.
colada.
Yes, these
Right.
are pop tails that are alcohol infused popsicles that we sell at the stores, and
If you want to
they're
have
amazing.
the most intense colonoscopy of your lifetime, apply for not only a liquor license in Mississippi, but an alcohol producer liquor license.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, no.
I bet.
They
I know
They're
that.
dropping popsicles right now, girl. You might want to come up here. All right.
I know that. I've had a few
You've got
of
one
these
too.
down in Ocean Springs, and they're absolutely delicious. So I'm very excited to see
well,
how this is.
this is the pop master. He makes the magic happen.
Really. Did this start in the garage?
La 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 la.
No, we come, we literally quit our jobs overnight with the idea of
smell it.
opening the popsicle store, not with never having made one.
Okay.
So we ordered equipment and then figured he spent
What'd you
some
think?
time in the kitchen.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I
Why don't,
absolutely love
why
'em.
don't you tell them the backstory about how you guys were in the restaurant business? and
Yeah, let's
doing
hear it.
marketing and
We got all night.
Okay.
And how y'all met.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to start back there,
We'll
Where you
start.
want? We got popsicles.
no,
We're here.
Chuck
all
and
this file.
Octavio
I'm
were
responsible
friends.
for that.
I know.
Your fault.
Chuck, you can tell the story because I mean, I kind of know a little bit of the
What you
story.
want?
I think it's a
What
great
flavor?
story.
Emily wants popsicles. Yeah,
Come on, babe. Hey. Guys,
We're live, man. You're just
if we have a little mic issues, we're having a lot of fun. Just
Sorry.
listen well.
yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry.
I wish we had popsicles for
Yeah.
y'all, but you're gonna have to go to
I don't
Pop
think
Brothers.
you have one of these right now. I do.
So yeah, take us back to it.
Okay,
Let's hear it.
y'all take it. You two need to start the story because y'all started before me. They knew each other. They were friends.
We broke up.
Our bromance.
Wingman?
Yeah.
With a wingman?
Well, no, I mean, I introduced the two of them. That's
Yeah.
That's really
Sure,
not that
I
interesting.
mean,
but,
Octavio was asked to move here in 2006 by George Cortes, the then president of the Beau Rivage, because he worked with George in Chicago. And he asked Octavio to come after Katrina. And he met Chuck. And y'all tell
yeah, and actually, I had a salon at the Hard Rock at the time. You know, we
I remember that way
Randy
back
Bears,
in the day.
Todd
Yeah,
Boswell,
yeah,
and I opened the salon.
Oh
at the Hard
yeah.
Rock,
Okay, yeah.
and we were set to open the day Katrina hit. That was the opening day, and of course, we all know how that
yeah.
went.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
year later, we opened again, and I met Octavio. I guess there was some sort of cross pollination going on between the Beau Rivage and the Hard Rock. I ended up meeting him. He was operating the restaurants at the Beau. And we became buddies, and I was cutting his hair at the salon at the Hard Rock, and he was taking care of me at BR Prime. And anyway, that's how these guys. We went to a party to see him, and they met there. But
Was it a love at first sight situation, or
It was just like, oh my gosh.
I like
I
it.
have to have it. It's just,
I like it.
Okay.
it's what I was born the day I met her. And it's
Come
just,
here, Chuck. The guys tuning in, Chuck and Shannon are brother and sister.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're both from Bayview. They're both from Gulfport.
yeah, it's Mississippi. Anyway, they can tell you the story of everything they were involved in, but he's operated restaurants all over the place, and they bounced around and did some different things, and he was operating some restaurants for a concern in Birmingham, Fresh Hospitality. They have tzatziki's and a bunch of different brands. He was operating some restaurants there, and they actually bought his parent company bought the butcher, Donald Link's Butcher. They bought the concept, and they were going to open one in Nashville. And they had been moving Octavio around, and he said, "I'll go to Nashville, but I want some equity in the deal." And anyway, didn't work out. He could probably give you more details, but he in the meantime, while they were in Birmingham, they had seen a similar concept called Steel City Pops. I'm not sure if those guys are still around, but they just wanted to come home. Heard
Yeah, we found out we were going to be grandparents. Our mom
Nice.
and they
was
wanted
in
to
a
just
nursing home.
he just wanted to get off the road and do something for himself. And they came to approach me and said, there's a really cool, pardon the pun, concept that we're interested in getting into. Do you want to help us? You want to invest? And it'll help us get home. And I said, sure. And that's kind of how it got started.
And the real version is the phone call went like this. Hey, you know that popsicle thing we talk about every now and then? Sure. Yeah. I said, we're thinking about moving home and giving it a go. What do you think? And he said, cool. I said, you want to be in on it? And he said, yeah, I'll be glad to. And I said, okay, see you tomorrow. And I hung up real fast. And then I had to call him back. And I said, can we live with you? And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
Take it all at once, right there, buddy.
That's a good brother. That's a real good brother.
I'm telling you.
So the actual freezing process, take us through that. I mean, yeah.
I'll have a drink and let him talk.
Here's the funny thing. I've been in the restaurant business basically my entire life, but I have never done a popsicle before. Shannon and I, we went to this store that he referred to, the Steel City, and it was cold outside. It was a line of people, and I have told her, I want you to come and see this concept. And so we went inside, and one of the first things that I remember is when I got in front of the kid that was at the, serving, he was like, what do you want? Like a really,
Like when I go to some of these craft beer places. Step it up, guys. Look,
exactly.
Step it up.
Yeah. Kind of like
I want my beer.
So
there's no secret to customer service.
exactly.
Just act like you care. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't.
So try one of the popsicles, and the two of us, we were trying it, and she said, "You like it?" And I said, "Yeah, but I think I can make it better than this." And of course,
And then
Like
the
I
months
s-
would go by and we wouldn't even think about it. And then
I'm almost done.
I was,
Fire.
I'm the kind of when you're in the restaurant business, I'm sure that you guys too in your own business. When you see something,
I started as an IP dishwasher, so
Yeah.
I get some of it. Some of it. I just
I was a
wash the
food
dishes.
runner.
Yeah.
I worked at One Eye Willie's as my first restaurant job.
Matt Dickens.
Yeah, way back in the day. Didn't last long.
So I don't have a lot of knowledge, but my parents in Latimer, we had a snowball stand called Cool Spots. Remember that?
Yeah,
And but we did the ice too. We had the machines. We did the blocks. I would sell. That's what I would do after school.
with the glass.
We'll fill up the ice, and people would come by for their snowball stands, and that's just my parents. I was underage, Mom. So
free labor, dude.
I even worked at snowball
labor
stand,
laws.
but that was a process for us. I know it didn't seem like a lot, but it was a lot
It is.
just to make sure the ice was right, pure. I remember making a few mistakes with that machine a few times, and I got my ass chewed out.
Well, back to what Chuck said earlier, you got your name on it.
Yes.
You want to hold that to, the standards got to be there.
Not to jump into his story, but in the beginning, we purchased the equipment. This equipment's incredibly expensive.
Oh, I can imagine.
And what we quickly learned was the few players in the country, some in South Florida, some guys in Atlanta, guys in Birmingham. It's a very, very delicate process. And if you don't get it just right, I mean, to make a popsicle that's not crystallized, that doesn't taste like you're biting into a block of ice, it's incredibly complicated. And there were no people in the business willing to give us secrets.
nobody.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had
Like the photographers around here.
yeah, talk about
So was it like trial and error?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
So how long before, hey, we got an idea to we got a product on shelves?
Well, we have to shout out to the Lynn Meadows Discovery
Yes.
Center because
Hey, love that.
we
We'll plug
we
you.
had some equipment, but we didn't really have anywhere to set up. And
To practice.
they opened their doors and let us, the big
Discover.
Emerald Lagasse kitchen that he set
That's
up
awesome.
years ago. They let us come in and hang out and use their processing areas to process the fruit by hand and batch after batch after batch. It's very
How many did
complicated.
it take for you to get it right? How many popsicles did it take?
I know that you're probably gonna think that I'm bragging here, but
If you say 2, I'm gonna think you're bragging.
If you say 2,
it was. It happened pretty fast. I was able to, I've been cooking for a long time, so you have.
Octavio, I just said how hard it was.
it's like
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
All right. So
It was months.
would you be
It was months
reserved with your
and
secrets,
months
or
of
would you be
money.
willing to help somebody if they were to ask?
Well,
No.
Me
No, look,
and Jordan help everybody with their.
No,
Depends on where they are.
All right.
it's just,
It's the nature of the business.
Nobody helped me. I was very lucky to, I don't know.
now, if we ever,
I think you would.
If we
As long
ever
as they weren't in
close
our
it up-
backyard.
if we ever close it up, we would we would sell them.
I was going to say it's got to be for sale.
Well, I think
you
what
ain't
I was
posting
saying
this.
is mainly for I started photography quite some time, and when I see people, because when I started out in photography, ain't nobody telling me shit. So I was like, me to learn different lenses and to start shooting the way I started shooting. I would literally put my headphones on and shoot 500 photos a weekend. I would run out in the middle of the streets at night. That's just like photography is my therapy. So I just love music and I love my camera. But when I see somebody that's got a camera like an auto, I'll take the time. I'll take time to say, shoot the basics. There's only 3 main basics of a camera. And once you get them down, you can shoot manual. But most people don't want to see it because like a threatened thing, but I just, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if I see somebody, I'll just stop. I'll even write it down on a napkin. Be like, no, let me see your camera. Like, it's cool. Like, but you got to continue to shoot just like hair, just like popsicle. You can't consistency in everything you get better at.
Well, but and persistence in this business, just like any business, there were definitely some dark days where we didn't know if we'd made a mistake. We're gonna lose all the money we'd invested in all the equipment. But probably because there was no choice, you just keep on, you keep on, you
There's
keep
no
on,
point.
and you keep on.
Alcohol seems like the scary one.
Yes.
Because I remember when, so guys,
It's hard to freeze alcohol.
Pop
100%.
Brothers, Shannon and the team, like Shannon's on the board with us for Carter's Champion. She's joined. She's every year been raising money. She's been there with this step, all the step away. So as y'all been a big support. But I remember right when y'all did the alcohol, when she was like, he's still working on it right now. Like, and you're going through tests. It's like,
Yeah.
he's just got it freezing. Because guys, you just watched me eat a popsicle, and I didn't get anything.
What's the alcohol content on those things?
Depending on which one of the popsicles is, but a little bit, definitely more than the beers that you guys are having.
Oh, really?
Well, you get north of 10% and they
Yeah.
won't freeze.
Yeah.
But
It's a balance.
but the thing is, like, this, people probably thought it was a regular popsicle because of the way it lasts. It didn't melt on me.
Right.
That's what I wanted to like. That I know that's the secret right
Not
there.
telling
Yeah,
you.
he's never
I'm not telling you.
Can't do it with your refrigerator.
Look, I can tell you one thing. It took me almost 5 years to come to the point where actually you can have an alcohol popsicle that you can enjoy like a normal regular.
That was
without
fire.
melting really
It was
fast,
good.
without crystallizing, without. It's a very if you come to my manufacturing, I can show you recipes from when I started. Because that's the part that I love.
Yeah.
Is breaking it down
And then we kill you.
every ingredient.
Had to work
But-
for us, dressed in an
But
outfit.
you will see how those recipes change over time, and it was adding a little bit more of these, taking,
How many flavors are y'all up to now? Total. 'Cause y'all got dog popsicles, or is it just for dogs, or they have cat ones
No.
now?
You can eat it too, man. You can say for
I don't want to eat it.
We have
So the-
pictures of cats with them. And
So just to give you an example, the dog popsicles, I knew when I did those, I wanted to make sure that they were as good as every other popsicle that we made. Incredible quality. We are known for the quality for ingredients, for the work that we put onto them. So, for example, the Pooch Pop is made with organic chicken broth. We have fresh mint for the breath, fresh sage for the stomach,
Jesus.
fresh
You're fine, dude.
green beans
Man,
for
sorry.
fiber. They have chia seeds for the coat, and they have a piece of organic chicken jerk inside.
Damn,
So that
that's a lot of stuff.
I-
like, that's a lot.
yeah,
I
we
like
don't
to
know.
talk. When people say, "Oh, they even have popsicles for dogs." A lot of people will think, they just put whatever there and just
Water and
We
food.
call them
Exactly.
haters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then when you see the ingredients, then you understand. Okay, and that's why you see so many families. The idea for our business is, I like to say that we don't sell popsicles. I like to call it, we sell experience, and it's an experience where the entire family can come to the.
We just
the
had an
store.
experience. How delicious was that?
But
I didn't get brain
live-
freeze at all.
Yeah, that's something we share. We go to Ocean Springs. That's why I mean, like, you're the first one I met. Because me and him, because I'd be always down there working and doing marketing with businesses, and you just know when a person smiles at you and actually takes the time to say hey, and the other ones don't just walk past you and nod at you. Like, he always took the time to come up. He had that van with no paint on it, roll around, and he'd honk. He'd stop, see me because I was a scooter. I have my scooters and
I
stuff.
remember
So
that.
he knows my scooters. So he'd be like honking. But no, I just enjoyed that because they're
Yeah.
Get in the van.
Yeah. Don't ask
They
any
look like
questions.
that. It did.
We had to get decals made really quickly because we looked too creepy. And what's so funny is when you ask how long it took, we ordered the equipment. We moved here the end of January. About a week later, we got the money together to order the equipment, and it comes from South America, so there's no quick getting it. So that's when he went into the Discovery Center and started working on recipes. I went to work as a probation officer because I had to make some money.
Something, yeah.
We're living at Chuck's, put everything we had, because we didn't save money. There was an idea that literally happened overnight. We didn't save money to start the business because just didn't happen.
That's a
that way.
crazy idea to start this kind of business. I mean,
Yeah, if somebody
all
came to me
year-round
tomorrow and
popsicles?
said, "Hey, this is what we want," I'd be like, "Man, I don't
So-
know."
We're one of the few. I don't actually know if it's any other company that stay open all year around.
and that was like, I was fascinated when I found that, because like, snowballs are seasonal.
Yes.
Normally you see like a fireworks stand, it's there for twice a year. Snowball stands a couple months out of the year. Sometimes they're not even open, but y'all are 365.
Yeah.
Well,
And typically, not to interrupt you, in the colder months, people gravitate toward the creamier pops, more savory.
I was wondering about the stats here.
Did I
That
say
was
more creamier,
creamier pops. Creamier
more
pops.
creamy.
Yeah, that's okay. You said it already. We'll just cut it and
We're
make
not
it one
getting
of
any
our.
stats. We're not going to get any stats because
All right.
that's a hit.
That's inside the secret, but like, yeah, like creamy pops during the winter.
Popsicles a year.
It's interesting. In the winter, if it's freezing cold, as long as the sun's shining, people buy popsicles.
Yeah.
They just gravitate when it's cold.
If the sun's not shining, no popsicles.
no, they'll come in the stores and
Okay.
buy them. But
it definitely slows it.
But I will
Definitely
say, guys, to say right now, Pops Brothers does
Pop Brothers.
always throw an S on everything, but they do just over 100 a year in popsicle sales. We're keeping it at that.
100,000.
No, 100. Just messing like you're never
100
gonna know, Uncle
popsicles.
Sam.
We're
$100.
over 100 popsicle
Just
sales.
a little-
Y'all are almost
Sam,
everywhere
no
now.
Uncle
You're in
Sam.
all the cities down here, right? I mean,
Well, and what we should probably talk about, and it's
Yeah.
sort of a sign of the times, is we have 3 bricks and mortar locations, and given the current labor situation, it's our expansion strategy lately has been on the wholesale side. And what the wholesale side means is our branded freezers are installed.
yeah, I've seen them.
Whether it's the aquarium, the Hattiesburg Zoo,
Hospitals.
Shannon's the marketing wizard. She's the one who lands all these accounts. We just
You consider wholesale like online shipped to home too, or
well, but more someone else's bricks and mortar, someone
Okay.
else's
Bulk,
employees.
yeah.
Now we have our branded freezers installed in Octavio, and we have a route. We deliver with our freezer trucks. It's someone else's bricks and mortar, someone else's employees, but it's our product, our branded freezers. So that's been our growth strategy organically too. It's hard to shoot out to Pluto.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of been a gradual, organic, sort of concentric expansion out.
So our revenue streams are brick and mortar, our wholesale accounts, which include museums, airports, zoos, aquariums, some universities, and then we also have tourist attractions, things like that.
weddings too, huh?
Yeah, well, then we have catering and events. It's a whole different side. So we have carts and then the truck,
I love it.
and we do
That's
that.
a
And then
lot.
we have
It's not just. It's a lot.
no, wait, we have school fundraising. So I've created a school fundraising program, and that goes from state line to state line. So there's really not a way to sell these that we don't do already, except for there's
On a
only
boat.
one, and
On a
that's
boat.
the home delivery, or
Waiter?
e-commerce. We haven't done that. No, we don't do those. because-
E-commerce would be. I told you this. Like a monthly subscription would just.
Well, the only reason is because COVID messed up the guaranteed 2-day
Exactly.
delivery,
Huh?
Yeah.
and it hasn't kind of circled back to that yet.
Well, you came by the house and brought me some
Yeah.
during the. You dropped me off a care package, and thank you. They stay in the freezer.
I was gonna
and we
ask,
enjoyed
what's
them for
the
a
life
while.
on it outside of that box right there? How long until we're starting to get
So-
sticky?
Inside that box, they are in dry ice.
Okay.
So dry ice is really the part that allowed us to, move the popsicles to different locations and so on. So what he was saying is before COVID, FedEx, for example, they secure the 2-day delivery. So we were getting into that, knowing that our popsicles will arrive in 24 hours or 48 hours to location. The problem is if they don't arrive on time, they will melt because the dry ice that we put in the box is we wait.
Shelf life
it's
on
all
it, yeah.
put, it's a you have to make a formula to know exactly how much you have to put to arrive on place. So FedEx just couldn't secure that will happen. So the last thing that you want to do is somebody buying $100 in popsicles, you send it to Atlanta, for example, and then when they arrive there, they are all melted.
And you have to refund. So until
refund
Yeah.
and send them back.
The thing y'all just
None
got,
of that.
but y'all have that thing with y'all's popsicles though that people come and visit and they want your popsicle.
Oh, yeah.
Like
we ship them, but it has to be overnight right now. That's the only way we can guarantee that they'll make it. If people want to pay that shipping, we ship them.
Hey, let's plug our sponsors real quick. Shout out to Loxicon, Pete Jones, Derek Schimper, and the boys. They will light up your world. They will put some audio visual in your house.
Gulf South Productions, Daniel Lozada, the concerts. I mean, because you want a concert done right, they can do it all.
Staging, lighting, it all. And then Golden Gulf Insurance Services.
Help me feed my child.
Yeah. We will insure you. We'll give you options. Home, auto, commercial. And then Garrett, roll that intro since we never really did.
We
We
gotta
don't
start
even call it
getting
the
better at
intro. Yeah, we're learning. Hey,
And
all right.
back.
Awesome. That was good.
Thanks. So we're here with Chuck Kelly and Pop Brothers Popsicles. For those of you who are just tuning in,
I want to go into let's go into how to pronounce your name correctly. This is
masculine.
yeah,
The masculine.
Octavio
Octavio.
Now, where are you
Okay.
from originally?
from Spain.
Okay. So, how old were you when you came here?
I came in 97. I was 27 years old.
Wow. So, big difference between there and here, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. I did. My family, we have family here in the United States, so we used to come very often. But in '97, I did come to work with my family pretty quickly.
Have we sent popsicles back to Spain yet?
No, but believe me, my family is really they're big supporters.
It's awesome, man.
I have this funny story. My father was 90 something when we decided to open this business, and before this, I managed big hotels, casinos, restaurants. I mean, so he knew my career. At
Your
that time.
capabilities.
Hospitality.
Well,
Yeah.
he was always
Yeah.
wearing a very fancy suit. And
Hospitality there for sure.
And so I called him and I say, "Hey, Dad, we open a new business." And he's like, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah, it's we do these things." And I told him we open a popsicle store, and it was a long silence. And then he said, "Son, do you need some money?"
Yeah, I do.
Oh my god.
when you talked about the van, it cracked me up because we bought that van for $1,000. It had been sitting out in the grass at a business, and we got it started, and Octavio got him down to like a third of what he was asking.
You got to do it.
But the thing smelled like it had been transporting elephants from the
Oof.
zoo, and it was full of wasps. So when we had to hose it out a bunch of times, and then you had to ride with the windows down for about 2 months to let all the wasps
If your
fly out.
popsicles smell like elephants,
Did you
But we
did it
still
have
have
AC?
Yeah,
It was.
that was the thing that
I
clinched the
mean,
deal.
that van is still.
I know.
It's in the regiment. It's in the fleet. It's in the fleet.
I mean,
I used it to go to New Orleans 6 weeks ago to pick up some stuff.
Did you?
Nice.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm really attached to it. It just. I mean, because it reminds me
That's a
where
hearing loss,
we
though.
started.
Keeps you humble.
Where, man, I have to get that guy down to the $1,000 that I have.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
any more. So the negotiations was, I want something.
Will you ever get rid of it?
No.
So it's a funny story. I started Janny King when I was 19. It was my first business, start cleaning business. Well, I had a Jeep Rubicon, and it was nice. I mean, I worked hard, but like the fuel at the time, so when the price goes like this, well, I had to trade it in on a Salon XB. It's down there. It's a little Salon.
Yeah.
I had to trade it in because I bought it from a guy that won the lottery and had low miles on it. So Rubicon, like automatic, it was the last year, the 4.0 white. I mean, I love this thing, but I couldn't afford the fuel. So I had to trade it in for the Scion. And that's what started, because I was getting like 40 miles a gallon and I was able to grow.
Yeah.
I'll never get rid of that van. That van will stay in my life forever. So you keep your van, I keep my van.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Mine's a lot smaller though.
Ours is still, we
That's
use it
the
to
word on the
transport the
street.
big freezers and stuff. So.
and when our granddaughter was born, I strapped her little car seat up in that crazy old van, and she would go with me to make deliveries.
That's awesome.
You know,
And
the
the-
story here is,
Go ahead.
you gotta. I mean, I guess some people stumble into businesses or are born into them, but if anybody out there is, you know, I hate to be cheesy, but if there's anybody out there wondering or watching, there's no secret to it, man.
Just do
It's
it.
just ball busting, man.
Having no plan B.
Ball busting and having the courage to do it and asking for help where you can get help and just freaking. And we're still working our asses off.
Yeah.
I've been working my ass off for 40 years in the salon business. I still work 10.5-hour days. There's no secret to it.
So Jordan was telling me this about you hustling haircuts out of Kincannon or Stockard or one of those dorms back in the day. Or
Yeah.
where was it?
Well, it was Twin Towers when I was there, which is, I guess,
Yeah.
Stockard. Yeah,
Stockard.
yeah. I was. I went to hairdressing school. Never had intended to be a hairdresser. Long story how I stumbled into it, but yeah, man. I had $400 a month to work with, which paid my fraternity dues, and which gave me 3 squares a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Other than that, I had nothing. And I was, and so I think I was getting $6 a haircut in my dorm room, or a 6-pack, or
Yeah.
Domino's pizza,
Yeah.
Whatever.
And we were
Barter system.
yeah. And I was, but
Do you still cut any of those people's hair to this day?
absolutely.
That's awesome. That's a cool feeling.
And their
100%.
parents.
They can say that they know they were there from day one with you.
Yeah. I literally have clients that I've cut for 40 years.
Have you developed where you're very confident in the way you cut hair now? Because, starting to cut hair, like any kind of art you do, you kind of judge yourself on like, I got to get better. Are you still learning every day? Are you still challenging yourself when you
Well,
cut hair?
today I was teaching class for 2.5 hours to my 2 apprentices, and you find thyself a teacher. Well, every time I teach, I learn from myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, because you just don't ever stop. You don't ever stop trying to hone, perfect. And I mean, it's.
Have you created your own hairstyle that is known around? Have you done that style? Have you come up with, they had the Caesar cut. They've had the mullet. They've had, what's the front mullet called?
I don't know.
That sounds awful.
Is the vertically real?
Sounds
The hairbrush from the ice skate movie with Will Ferrell was made out of whalebone. And
as far as I know, it's not.
because I do know, I mean, all right, so John Austin is a buddy of mine. He used to cut hair, and he's telling me how expensive his like just scissors were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? Yeah, so it's not just you're not buying random equipment out there.
no,
There's-
no, it's real.
Okay, well, I'll stand
There
corrected.
it is, the vertically.
Stand corrected.
Okay, so how much do your scissors cost? Is it shears? Is that the right term?
Shears, yeah.
Shears. Okay, how much does shears cost?
Average
Now, let's go straight up though.
Yeah, what do yours cost?
What's a good pair?
500.
How long does it last?
I've got some that I've had for 30 years. The reason they're expensive is the steel is a certain hardness. Typically, the best shears are Japanese. There are a lot of shears now that are coming on the market that are Chinese, and they're
Are they pretending to be Japanese?
they're ergonomically well designed, but the hardness of the steel's not there, so the edge does not hold,
Okay.
and the quality's just not there. So I probably have 20.
Chef now.
How many pairs do you have around your waist?
I don't do that.
I would though.
I know you would. I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, I have fanny packs.
there was a-
Yeah, I do have fanny packs.
What about the spray? You got to have a good mister
Yeah, come on.
somewhere.
No, there was a time in the 80s when I had parachute pants on and my Nehru shirt.
Those are the pictures we really need for the show.
Right.
You saw that picture.
Yeah.
I did. The one with the hair, that's pretty golden.
But I mean, some of these tools are important for you, though, right? I mean,
Trust me, man. All the tools are definitely important. If I've got an incredibly sharp blade, the work's going to be easier, much more efficient, much cleaner lines. You can definitely accomplish the work without it, but it's
you pretty OCD with cleaning up at the shop at night.
oh yeah. I've got the most amazing guy who comes in the salon. He's worked for me for 36 years. Tony Herport. And he and his crew have cleaned the salon every night for 36 years.
Every night.
Every night. He's missed one night in 36 years. Guess when that was? His mom's
I was
funeral.
gonna say somebody must have passed away.
His mom's funeral.
Man.
Yeah.
So
we walk in every morning to a sanitized space.
is it I would have like a Roomba just rolling around on the ground. I'd make light work of it for me.
But I mean that is probably one of the things in addition to trying to do really quality work and make our guests feel really appreciated, which is
want to clean.
Anybody out there wants to do any kind of business, there's no secret to it. You have to do good work and make your clients know that you really get who's doing whom a favor.
Yeah.
The only person doing anybody
Are you a therapist too, or how's that work?
The only person doing anyone a favor in a business relationship is the person who's walking in the door with the money.
Yeah.
They're the one doing you a favor. I don't care what you're doing, if it's popsicles, hair, whatever you're doing, insurance. The minute you lose sight of the fact that they're doing you a favor, you're not doing them a favor by taking care of them.
Yeah.
The minute you lose sight of that, you're done. You're
Truth.
done.
They can take their business anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what make
The
them?
minute you
come
think
back
you're
to
all
you,
that
that's-
in a bag of whatever, you're done.
When did therapists become hairstylists?
Day one.
Okay.
I was going to say, I remember, what was it? Movie where Eddie Murphy coming to America
Mm-hmm.
and the barbershop scene there and where they're just all
There's
cutting
something
up.
really,
and-
really powerful about we're licensed. We're one of the actually cosmetologists are one of the very few professions who are actually licensed to touch someone. We actually have a license to lay our hands on people. And
Never
there's
thought about it
something
like that.
about the power of that. I don't know what it is about. It's the shampoo process and the fact that they are entrusting their entire appearance
Trust
to
thing.
you.
Yeah, it's trust thing.
But the bond is really pretty.
Do you
incredible.
have, like for us, we have to do 24 months continuous education for insurance?
It's not in cosmetology in
Okay.
Mississippi. It's an option if you want to go and do some continuing ed and have a sort of the.
I mean, at what point do you not know it all? Whenever they start cutting hair with fire. I know.
you never know it all.
The day that you think that you know it all is the day that you close the door.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
No matter what it
we-
is. You know,
Like I told you, I mean, in our side, in popsicles, I keep learning every single day. I mean, we go home and she will be on, trying to make sales, looking for new ways, and I'm creating recipes and I'm working on supplies and looking for better prices and better quality. Is what we do. We
So-
don't do.
What's a flavor test? Sorry, Matt. The flavors. How do you come up with the flavors? Is it
That's
y'all
all
three?
him. No, it's all him. All him.
Yeah, there.
So Scott from Hops and Growers in Ocean Springs. He's a buddy of ours. He was in food and beverage before he started Hops and Growers. Him and his wife. He's been doing it he's won so many awards, but he don't tell anybody. But it's a little cinder block building on Government Street.
that was Todd Boswell's first salon.
Was it? So
Yeah.
you okay? Hops and Growers.
I used to cut hair in that place with Todd. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Todd and I still work together.
Have you been in Hops and Growers?
No.
Okay. Well, he's got about 23 beers on brew in house, and I've watched him pour out like he had a Four Roses aged stout. He poured it 60 gallons out because he didn't like the way it tastes. Like he's that kind of like
Oh,
That's what
it's
I
all about service. He's like, I was looking over, I was like, are you pouring all
Well,
this out? He goes,
and that's a gift too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a certain level of a palate.
Liquid art. Is
Yeah,
what
like I'm drinking mine right now. I know I like it, but he could probably taste it and articulate.
where the flavors come from.
And then once he does, I'm like, oh yeah, I get that. But I couldn't.
Man, you got the
I
superpower.
couldn't identify myself.
So Octavio, do you get your stuff from local, like, or where do you get your ingredients?
We get a lot of, like, for example, the cream that we buy is from a farm in Baton Rouge. Unfortunately,
When I say Baton Rouge, it's like Baton Rouge.
Yeah, he says it's so.
That's still local.
Rouge.
Yeah, I mean, I consider Louisiana, Baton Rouge
Yeah.
local. I consider that definitely
We
local.
don't have
Yeah.
a whole lot of ingredients an
But-
hour around us.
but we do buy, from local produce companies. Everything that we can do local, we do. Whatever we can do to help other businesses, and we're very proud of that. That connection that we have with other businesses, and a lot of places really want to have us in the restaurants or stores because they love what we do.
I mean, y'all are pretty cool people too. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm not just saying that.
It's
but-
experience going in there. I mean, it's experience. I mean, by far, Ocean Springs is my favorite spot, and they don't have a dining area on there, and I love it. I don't even look at y'all's prices. I just, what flavor do I want? Tutti frutti, like whatever flavor I have in my head, we get it and we start walking, or we'll sit in y'all's little.
Yeah, and then the cool thing about that Ocean Springs store, I mean, we're first looking at it, we weren't sure that we're going to be able to make it work, but it turned out to be that it had to be a walk-up window, and we had to have our seating outside. And initially, we thought it was, this is going to be, it's not going to work. This is,
I've eaten many of popsicles on that bench. out there.
Several.
No, but this speaks to where sort of the infancy where we were and how we were thinking, and we thought, here's this amazing location, but with the cities, we couldn't have people inside, and we thought this is just not going to work. It's not going to work. And then all of a sudden, we just sort of thought, approach it differently, and we thought, well, you know what? If it's a walk-up window, then we're going to have a line of people all the time. Herd mentality. What's that?
Get it?
And then everybody who's seating, everyone who's sitting and enjoying the product is not inside where no one can see them. They're outside, or they're walking the street with it. And it's
With
turned
a
out
big sign in their hand.
one of
Essentially,
the-
what it is.
100%.
One of the things that I know for sure that is the reason why we do well, we have a really good product and we keep growing, is because the three of us, we bring
Thank you, sir.
a lot of experience. He have
Brand
the
building.
experience
He
on
built
his
a
business,
huge brand.
So the three of us, and they are completely different, or skill set is completely different. And we all, we will go to our house and have a couple bottles of wine and talk over, and
It's not a bad way to
completely different opinions,
market
but then
research.
Yeah.
at the end, we come out to the right decision.
We actually created our name and our logo before we ever even had a recipe.
We went to Starbucks and Barnes and Noble,
Sat around.
Crossroads, and we just started sort of got a thesaurus.
So what's the backstory on
The
it?
backstory on Pop Brothers?
Yeah.
Well,
the name?
Pop
Yeah.
Brothers and a sister wife sounded stupid, so we just went with Pop Brothers.
And actually, we literally, but the process was we sat down at the Starbucks at Barnes and Noble. It's sort of like a thesaurus sort of way, sort of looking at just any name that had to do with popsicles, family, bang, bang, bang. And we just started combining them and literally out loud.
Now that's cool
We ran
shit.
around
Yeah.
with
Like that's some really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And we just sat there banging it out,
it.
pop
With the
this,
graphic
pop that.
designer with us.
And we can't say popsicle because it's a trademark name. So we knew we had to say
Wow,
pop.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, popsicles is trademark.
Really?
When we did the TV
What
show.
brand?
Popsicle.
Yeah, when we did the TV show with Tillman Fertitta, the $1 Billion Buyer Show, we had so many.
How cool was that?
It was not.
Awful. It was
No?
the worst. Yeah, it's horrible.
Did they make you feel like
Well,
this?
just reality TV is.
Well, it's all staged.
Well, yeah.
And
And on stage is manipulated.
Yeah.
And so they came to us. We did not.
Well, yeah, and there was a local guy, a local banker here, a great guy,
Yeah.
who
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
who
Brandon
actually,
Brandon went.
yeah, is he still with?
No.
Anyway,
shout out Brandon.
Brandon.
Yeah.
He's Brandon.
Hey, we went to high school with Brandon.
He's
With
my
graduated
cousin.
with him. So
he's
No,
a,
great
He really is.
Do you have somebody that
He's been on the show.
No, he's my
Brandon's
cousin.
been on the show.
That's his jacket's over there. He left it.
he is a great guy.
He's a super guy.
Yeah.
He was in the store experiencing the product, and he's the one who actually submitted us our name and our info to the show.
But he didn't tell us.
He didn't tell us.
He's got a big heart.
Oh yeah.
Great guy. And anyway, that's how that got rolling. And but it's not only the thing about reality TV is that, and I'm not saying it's all shows, but
Sorry about the fruit fly, bud. I'm sorry.
Well, is it any publicity is good publicity type deal?
Well, no.
You know what I meant.
No?
Well, I mean, we had some
Anyway.
really rough moments during that film. We almost
Yeah.
left. Yeah.
But I mean, it's obvious that, and I guess, you don't want to I don't know if we're crossing any lines here, but it's, if they have an agenda, they're going to entertain their audience. And if you look like a jackass and an idiot, then bad on you.
That's better for them.
And I told these two when we agreed to do it, I said, at any point, I'll do it. But at any point, if they're representing us,
Not how you feel.
if they're misrepresenting us and making us look bad, I will destroy the scene.
Yeah.
I'll destroy the shot. I'm not going to let it happen.
Well, I remember having a conversation
And
with
that happened a couple of
the
times.
producer saying, kind of laying out that groundwork, but saying, this is not a joke for us. We jumped out to start a business. We have everything on the line, and we will not let this make us look like a joke.
Right.
We'll leave first. And she said, well, you're contractually obligated. I said, fine, do whatever you got to do. You're not going to get the footage.
Yeah. And it was good exposure. I mean, we knew.
No, but if you see the show, we were, they were all millennials, kids that start some business, they buy something in China and they sell it here.
Yeah.
We were the only ones that
But they're
really
the
knew what we were doing
From the ground
we knew
up.
our numbers. I
The whole
I remember
process.
being in Houston with all the other guys,
But we were nervous about it. It was scary.
Oh, it's out of the comfort zone for
If
sure.
you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're not going to grow. You're not
Yeah.
going to get anywhere. We knew we had to do it, but we also knew that we were going to take a stand. We weren't going to allow ourselves to look, because every one of those shows, they have a sort of.
They like negative shit.
Well, I've seen
Well,
Shark Tank.
They
Yeah.
like to make someone look.
They got
like
the
a
one
shit.
guy, they'll do like two
Right.
good ideas and two bad
Yeah.
ideas.
So
and
we're not going to be that.
So
guy.
just to give you an example, we were filming and Tillman Fertitta, we're as soon the camera goes on, he's that persona, he's kind of like a manly and trying. And then when the camera shut off, he just turned around and said, "Guys, I don't have nothing to teach you. You guys know everything. You guys really doing this the right way."
do me and Jordan have different persona when the camera's on
Absolutely.
versus okay.
Oh,
Okay, good.
shit.
But anyway, it was good for us. It was good for the brand, and
We sold a lot of popsicles with them for a year. A
Mhm.
lot. A whole lot.
I will say though,
Yeah,
something, Matt. I want for us,
Really?
so we're moving this insurance, going in the direction of insurance, especially with my son being 5, him just getting engaged, and I just tell him at the office, like, we got to have fun with each other. Like, we're better, like best friends. We got to have fun in this office. I mean, if we have some deals that don't go smooth, let's turn some music on. Let's loosen up. Let's walk it off.
I got a strict rule, and that's if you can't make work fun, don't make work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to live by it as much lately. It's been not so fun, but that's back to the grind. Sometimes you got to put it in while you're young to enjoy it when you're older. And
You work for
I wouldn't
yourself,
trade
though.
it.
There's no 9 to 5 when you work for yourself.
Right.
There's no 9 to 5. There's no 3-week vacation. You have to give yourself a 3-week vacation.
and the sort of the irony of everything, this dynamic that we've talked about there's this, and I hate to say this generation because I don't want to alienate people, and
Start calling them out, Chuck. We got
I
your
don't
back.
want to, but
We got your
what
back,
people
Chuck.
need to realize is if this is sort of pervasive, and there are this sort of if there's this growing number of people who are just happy to get by and get ahead, that presents a great opportunity for those who are willing to bust their asses and work hard. So that it's almost easier right now.
You got to step in.
Separate yourself from the people who aren't willing to work.
I see it. I see it now personally.
Plus, everybody's either doing an NFT, crypto, pyramid scheme.
They want that gig.
I'm not
get rich
shouting out
quick
all your pyramid
scheme.
schemes down here on the coast. We better chill out on my Facebook. I'm not going to add you. Sorry. You're not tagging me in everything, every post.
Are you hating on Bitcoin or what?
No. I mean, I bought some Cordano, and I bought a few things just to do
I'll
it.
tell you, and I'm a hairdresser. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about at all. But what is going to survive all this is the blockchain technology.
That's true.
That's going to survive.
That will.
All these
Carry on.
NFTs and all these coins and all this stuff won't. But the actual paradigm shift in the way that money is moved in real time, like that, 2
Yeah.
seconds for 5 cents versus a week and $100 or $200, $300 to move money around
And
the
two
world.
people talking about it on the phone hours. And
That will survive. The
Yeah.
blockchain will survive. A lot of the cryptocurrencies.
What's your favorite currency right now?
Well, I mean, I think the one that's going to survive it all is Bitcoin. It's not a currency. It's a store. It's like digital gold. I really do think
You have Bitcoin?
I do.
if you got to name one
Wouldn't
right
you-
now, what would you call it?
It'd be the Chuck Kelly coin. I mean, shit, I would call it that.
Chuck coin.
Yeah, Chuck.
Popcoin.
There you go.
But so what year did you get into the
Well, Shannon's probably going to pipe in here, but my nephew, her son, is the one who sort of started blowing the horn on it about 7 years ago. Ethereum.
Yeah.
Don't want to know what Dylan did with that because he won't tell anybody. I'm pretty sure he did okay.
Yeah, probably
And if
so.
I had done 10% of what he told me I should do 7 years ago, I would not be here on the show with y'all.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a popsicle.
I would be on my island somewhere. Yeah, let's put it
Well,
that way.
what song
hey,
you be listening to?
live and
on that
learn.
island? What's that island? What songs you be jamming out to? What's your go-to music?
I'm old, dude. It's Rolling Stones, Allman Brothers.
Heard that.
Do some Dave Matthews. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but if you put me on a desert island, and this is
Yeah, that's where you're at. That's where you're at.
Cliche.
Ashley
And rum, and you got plenty of rum.
You know Ashley.
Yeah.
And when we started dating, and I realized the age disparity between us, I asked her one question. I said, "We're stranded on a desert island. I got one band we can listen to."
Okay, this is a real question. It's probably,
I swear to God, this is
Yeah.
what happened because I was freaking out about the age difference. Sorry, Ashley. I doubt you're listening, but in case you are, well, first I said, "You know who Ronald Reagan is?" And she said, "Of course I do." I said, "Okay." Stop hyperventilating a little bit. I said, "All right, you're stranded on a desert island. You got one band's music you can listen to. Who is it? Rest of your life, one band." She said, "The Rolling Stones." I said, "You're lying." I said, "Give me your phone." She gave me her phone full of Stones music. So I said, "This can work." And it's been 8 years. It's
I love
worked.
his facts over a band too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Music's important.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's an escape.
I mean, I think everybody listens to music every day.
Well, our dad was a musician, so we grew up with
Really?
all of
So
it.
do y'all play?
Should have. He
Should
was
have.
too.
I did.
What'd you
but
play?
Piano, like he did, but
Oh, it's not like riding the bike. You can't go play us a couple minutes. Like,
not really.
we can start a band right now, Shannon.
Not as-
We
I'll sing for you.
There we
but I
go.
can't
we do have a
Pop-
SoundCloud
pop band.
group called
Tucker Glendale.
Tucker
Yeah.
Glendale.
So we're SoundCloud
that's me-
rappers.
That's three.
Cool.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
We just like to figure things out.
I think y'all can do it too. I mean,
It's fun, and that's back to we've committed
I'm gonna.
to creating things, and it ain't food, it ain't haircuts. It's more of
yeah,
entertainment.
It's not a
What
joke,
keeps us-
But
what
it's
keeps
all
our-
creation.
and it's not a joke.
Absolutely.
We do this like we say podcast second. I mean, the podcast we've been doing this 3 years. Y'all are 177, and we didn't think anybody listened to us. Ooh, that
and they
wasn't-
still might not.
and that wasn't our mission.
We don't
behind
do it for
it
them.
was about us sitting there and kind of cutting up with friends, and then we're working on a cartoon, and we create things. We have on the other side of this wall. There's our ideas,
Yeah.
and what we do that most people don't, a lot of people don't do, is we mark it off the list. So we
set
go down-
goals,
and we do
accomplish
it
them.
all three together. Like whether we're making a caution beer merch, whatever we're working on, it's three of us working.
But don't you love the fact that podcasts are disruptive? And we're in the age of disruption.
Oh, and a
And,
doubt.
I love
with COVID, during COVID, the podcast just exploded.
Yeah,
And you're taking not taking away, but sort of harnessing the ability to broadcast and reach people, which is the beauty of what you got, what a podcast allows.
It's organic.
Anyone can
And it's
do
It's
it.
underground.
And there's no stopping it, right?
And it's opened up so many doors for us. I mean, we can both attest to that.
when
But
Spinner came on here and talked about going to jail,
Mhm.
he's been on 6 or 7 times, and the first time he didn't. Matt was like, "No, you don't have to talk about that."
he's
Came on-
mad at us.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like,
mad at
what are
second
you talking
time.
about, dude? I wanted to talk about it. And I said,
Yeah,
well, I'm not going to
second time
set
he's
you
like,
up.
dude,
like
I made a
that.
mistake. sorry. And it's like, and it kind of shifted to where it opened, even with a lot of the people we have on, it's open. We do have people that look, news people. That
We
look
got
at
pretty
us.
cool guests. I'm
They
just
want to
saying.
go, ooh, what did, they had Chuck Kelly on. I wonder what he talked about. It's great because I honestly, you can't get being more.
Yeah, you got to book a year out to talk to Chuck Kelly.
People would rather hear us like me stutter and make mistakes than hear where it's all cut off, where you got somebody just talking and then answers for you.
Yeah, or pronounces people from
Like,
the coast last
I don't
name
want to come
wrong.
on here and tell your life story. I want you to tell me your story. Because I mean, I don't know your story. So for me to narrate it for you, I'm not going to do it. And it comes to politics. Are we left, right? No, we're up. And our views are up.
Yeah, positivity.
We're gonna start
Anybody
our
who's
own.
passionate about what they
I
want to
mean,
do, we let them come talk
don't put
about
us in
it.
that corner because we're not in that corner. Like
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
if I like a person that's a Democrat, I'm gonna vote for him. If I like a person that's a Republican, I'm gonna vote for him. I mean, that's how we try to operate the show.
Sure.
And it's all about, I think with
It's all about good entertainment and good conversation. I mean, you guys, nothing that we've talked about has been forced. It's all been naturally.
Well, it's authentic. It's organic. We didn't stage it or set it up or anything. So
the people you're going to help though are the people that might been thinking about cutting hair but won't pull the trigger or want to start their own small business in the popsicle world or dessert world. That's our listeners. Our listeners are at that age of like, what should I do with my life?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can't just go to college, get this massive degree if you don't know how to hustle. You don't have street smarts. You don't have
well,
it.
if there's something I can say is that Shannon and I had the luxury of growing up in Bayou View all our lives, and from the outside perspective, we were privileged, but we really weren't. We did not have it easy at all.
No.
We had the privilege of having really amazing friends, amazing families that we're still really good friends with, and they were our support through all those years. But we could have very easily just given up, and so when we were
Settled.
when we were on our own, we could have just sort of
taken a
not,
different path.
But so if there's anyone, I hate to say so, it sounds so cheesy, but if this reaches anyone who just is afraid to sort of risk, and like they reached out to me, and I just at that moment in time happened to be in a position to invest in the business. Everyone out there who's trying to get to the next level, it's got to know some person, one individual.
Oh, there's opportunity out
that
there
they can
lurking.
reach out to for either advice, guidance, financial help. Go sit and talk to a banker, even if your credit's not good yet. Develop a relationship with a banker that you can just go hang out with and talk to and get advice. And just don't quit and just keep pushing and utilize all the contacts that you've got.
Yeah. I've had a million jobs. I'm not as artistic as Chuck. Chuck
You still got a million jobs. You own your own business.
I know, but I mean, I've had a million jobs. Chuck is extremely artistic, and I'm telling you, he gave us a painting off of his wall for a housewarming gift, and he went and bought a canvas and in 30 minutes painted another painting and put it on the wall. He's very artistic in other ways other than hair.
Is it only nude men that you draw, or
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't have that. But what the most important thing I've learned is know what you know, and be confident in that. And what you don't know, find someone who does and learn from them.
That's
Somebody
smart.
who does it well. That's my best advice. And I'll be happy to tell anybody.
Trust me, we're still broke. We're not there yet.
Do as I say, not as I do.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you the recipes, but I don't have any problem explaining to people how we started the business with very little money. Chuck gave us some money, and we put everything we had into it. That's why we moved in with them for a while. And I'll tell you a really funny story. Part of the money came from the fraudulent lending practices of Wells Fargo Bank,
Wow.
but we didn't know it at the time.
I had nothing to do with that.
Yes, okay. And we still bank with
Plead
Wells
the fifth,
Fargo
plead the
today.
fifth.
We're very loyal to them, even though. So when we moved back home, the first place we went was Wells Fargo because we moved around so much with our job. We had a bank account at Wells Fargo for 10 years because they were always in the major cities we ended up in. So we kept our Wells Fargo account. So we went to make a loan to get our share of the money. So we went
How are
to
you
Wells
telling
Fargo
this?
because it's hilarious.
All right, let's hear it.
It's a great, no, it is. It's public knowledge. It's not like I'm
to do with
telling
this.
something that isn't all over the news. So we sit down with our
Sink this shit.
banker.
That's good.
Yeah, we sit down with our
This was
banker.
going so well.
Yeah, we sit down with our banker. So we want to start a business. We would like to make a loan. So she types in the computer and she looks at us and she goes, well, why don't you just use your line of credit? And I went, we have a line of credit? She said, yes, you do. And
Yeah.
I said, well,
Are you
okay.
Dr. Galakowitz? Yes, I am.
So I just grabbed,
I do it. Shit.
I grabbed him by the arm and we took off and we went outside and we both looked at each other and we both said at the same time, did you open a line of credit? And I said, no. Did you open a line of credit? And he said, no. And we said, thank God somebody opened it. So we used it. And so literally 30 days later, the press breaks with Wells Fargo opening accounts for people who didn't ask for them and all
Wow.
that kind of stuff. So I went back in and as a joke, I said, hey, can I get in on that class action lawsuit?
See, everything
said,
happens for a
"Absolutely not."
reason. Everything happens for a
But
reason.
I always give them credit for helping Pop
There you
Brothers
go. There
start.
you go. Well, guys, look, we appreciate y'all coming back on. I want to do this again. Y'all definitely down for a part 2, maybe in the future. Yeah, cool. Thank y'all so much.
Guys, you got if you both their businesses are in the links. You got Chuck Kelly's, Pop Brothers. Their websites are in the description.
Yeah, shop
on it.
local.
If you want to be an apprentice on either company, hit them up.
Yeah,
But better be ready to work.
Exactly.
and
Shout out to
learn
our great
and
employees.
learn.
We have really great employees. People have been with us since day one.
That's awesome.
We love you guys.
Yeah, see y'all next
I
time.
love you, Mom.
Same here.